around here, we keep going back to the Denver game. This is where we need your help schematically because you are an expert in X's and O's. And we say, the Denver Broncos gave the blueprint in terms of what they were doing against Dak, and the offense was never the same except for 2 blowouts against the NFC East. Did you see that, a consistent blueprint defensively from the Denver game on?
Well, that each game is independent. I mean, I don't think San Francisco said, well, this is what Denver did to Dallas. We're going to do it. I know San Francisco. They played their game. They dress 9 defensive linemen. They come after you like it's, like a bunch of angry sharks. And that's what they did. And, they disrupted. They had 1 or 2 blitzes that got home. But really, for the most part, they attacked the line of scrimmage. Now, they play a totally different defense, San Francisco does, than what Denver does. So, Dallas, except for a touchdown drive in the second quarter, they didn't run the ball well at all. Like, that's not a good recipe for anybody. When they ran it, they moved the ball. And they just did that on one drive. But, they didn't protect well. So I don't know if that's a blueprint by what Denver did. I mean, that's just who they are right now.
Mm-hmm. Ball, do you think the talent on this team is overhyped because of the publicity that gets with being on the Cowboys? That these guys are household names where if they played for another team, they would just be, I don't want to say guys, but not household names, and there may not be as good as they actually are.
Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of hype because of where they were drafted and how high and all that kind of stuff, and reputation. I mean, that offensive line didn't look like a good offensive line on Sunday. So I would say that, there's a lot of hype to the team, especially when you're beaten as thoroughly. I mean, the score I thought was closer than the game. I thought they were beaten thoroughly on both sides of the ball by a team that, had to win in Week 18 just to get into the playoffs. So I would say that there's some of that to that, because really you're only going to get measured by how you play in the playoffs. That's it. I mean, I don't care what your record is. If you win 12 games in the regular season, that's a nice record. But it's really how you play in the postseason is how you should be measured. And they didn't play well. They got beaten pretty good.
What should be at the top of the fix-it list in the offseason?
Well, I'd find a left guard that should play at a high level. I mean, that would be a premier position that I would address right now. You got to look at the left tackle. I mean, Tyron didn't play well. I know his reputation. I know what he's done over the last 10 years. But I'd take a long look at left tackle. Those 2 positions, and I'm not saying Lyle is a lock at right tackle. I wouldn't say that Terrence Steele isn't a better player at that position. I just look at the offensive line right now, and I think it needs to be upgraded at this point.